1500 years ago, students from China, Korea and Japan travelled thousands of miles to reach Nalanda University in Bihar. This was the world's first big university, where 10,000 students studied from 2,000 teachers. Bihar was exceptionally rich at the time, a centre of power, trade and learning in ancient India. It was arguably one of the richest regions in India at the time. Fast forward to today, the state is known for something completely different. The once richest state is now the poorest.
आज भी देश का सबसे गरीब और पिछड़ा राज्य बिहार है प्रति व्यक्ति आय के हिसाब से.
It was known as the education capital of the world. Now it's infamous for illiteracy.
Political science या नया सब्जेक्ट हम सुनते क्या चीज है?
खाना बनाने के बारे में.
डॉक्टर हैं आप?
जी.
कहाँ से पढ़ी आपने डॉक्टरी?
हम पढ़े नहीं हैं, प्रैक्टिशनर हैं.
मतलब दवाई देते हैं?
हाँ देते हैं. मेरे पास डिग्री नहीं है, प्रैक्टिशनर हूँ.
People used to come to Bihar from all around the world. Now people in Bihar can't wait to leave the state. This change didn't happen overnight. It was not by accident. Behind Bihar's fall are many bad policy decisions, political mistakes and historical events that pushed this once great state into many years of staying behind. In this video, we'll find out 5 reasons why Bihar became India's most underdeveloped state. During the 1790s, the British East India Company settled in the Bengal Presidency, which included Bihar, Jharkhand and West Bengal of the present time. This simple decision by the British created a system that would hurt this region for centuries. I'm talking about the Permanent Settlement Act, the Zamindari system. The Permanent Settlement Act created zamindars, big landowners who collected taxes from farmers almost on behalf of the British. These zamindars got permanent ownership rights over huge territories in exchange of fixed yearly payments that they made to the British government. The farmers used to do the farming, producing all the crop while not owning any land. In a good year, 60% of this crop was given to zamindars as rent. Zamindars kept only 10% of this as commission and 90% of the money went to the British. During bad years, the situation was even worse. The farmers still had to pay rent to the zamindars and they were forced to borrow money at very high interest rates, which created a vicious debt cycle. A few zamindars got really rich, while millions of farmers lived in constant poverty. The real winners though were the British. Think about it. The zamindars were happy because of the 10% that they got. The farmers did the farming, the zamindars made a business out of it and kept a 10% commission while giving 90% of all the money to the British. This is just insane. After independence, eventually this exploitation stopped. The Zamindari system came to an end in the mid-1950s. However, Bihar's downfall continued even after independence. The next reason for this was a policy by Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru. Bihar should have been rich because Bihar as a state had a lot of mineral resources: coal, iron ore, copper, mica, bauxite and uranium. How could the state be so poor despite being so rich in mineral resources? The answer lies in a 1952 policy by Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru called the Freight Equalization Policy. This policy would prove to be very bad for Bihar's future. Let me explain. Bihar had a lot of resources like coal and iron ore, the basic stuff needed for any industrial economy. Normally, companies would build factories near these raw materials to save money on the moving cost, basically the logistics cost. This advantage should have made Bihar India's factory heartland, but this policy didn't let it happen. According to the Freight Equalization Policy, raw materials would cost the same price all over India no matter how far you had to carry them. A factory in Mumbai would pay the same amount of money for Bihar's coal as a factory in Bihar itself. The freight or the transportation cost was to be paid by the government. And guess the result. Before this policy, Bihar's industrial growth was 75% in a decade, much higher than the national average of 41%. And then it slowly began to collapse. Companies started moving to coastal states like Gujarat and Maharashtra, which had better ports and roads, while paying the same rate for Bihar's resources. For almost 50 years, this policy slowly moved Bihar's natural wealth to other states. The damage was too much to fix. Bihar had become a supplier of raw materials and cheap workers to India's developed states. But if you've checked out my case study on Odisha, you would see that they suffered the same fate. However, they recovered. Then why not Bihar? This is when we move to the next thing that happened. By 1980s, Bihar's politics became even more destructive for the state. By the 1980s, Bihar's politicians divided people by caste rather than focusing on development. Elections became battles between caste groups rather than debates about progress. Politicians promised government jobs to specific castes instead of creating private sector jobs for everyone. In a typical village meeting in Bihar in the 1990s, instead of talking about water projects or road construction, leaders would just spend hours arguing about which caste deserved more government positions. Development became a lot less important than caste reservation. The irony here is very interesting. While politicians used caste identities for votes, poverty affected all communities equally. Poor farmers from every caste struggled with the same problem: lack of electricity, bad roads, and poor healthcare. At the same time, states like Gujarat and Tamil Nadu were attracting foreign investments and building world-class infrastructure. This caste politics also set the stage for the worst period in Bihar's history, the Jungle Raj. Imagine living in a place where starting a business means putting your life in danger, where police stations can't help and criminals walk freely on the streets. This was Bihar between 1990 and 2005 under what local people called Jungle Raj. Rich families hired private guards or just left the state. Take the case of Patna's clothes sellers. In the 1990s, dozens of successful clothes traders got phone calls asking for money. Most paid quietly. Those who said no often went missing, and within 10 years, Patna's once busy cloth market was almost empty. Bihar's economic data also exposed this reality. While India grew fast, Bihar's growth rate fell below 1% per year during this 15-year period. Industries closed down. The educated middle class ran to cities like Delhi and Mumbai for safety. This also brings us to the fourth reason: brain drain, what people also called palayan. During the Jungle Raj and even after that, every morning at Patna Junction railway station, you could see Bihar's biggest tragedy: hundreds of young people getting on trains going to Delhi, Bangalore and Mumbai. They carried engineering degrees, medical diplomas and business qualifications. Most would never come back. According to reports, 87% of Bihar students wanted to study outside the state. But why? Because the state didn't have good colleges, research places and job opportunities that matched their qualifications. This brain drain created a terrible cycle. Smart people left the state taking their skills and possible investments with them. Those who stayed back didn't have the knowledge to start new industries or improve the government. Due to this, big companies avoided Bihar, making even fewer opportunities available for the educated youth. And just when things couldn't get worse, Bihar lost its biggest asset, its resources. In the year 2000, Bihar was split. The mineral-rich southern region became Jharkhand, taking with it most of Bihar's coal reserves, industries and natural wealth. Imagine losing your main source of income overnight. That's what happened to Bihar. The state kept its large population but lost its money-making resource. After 2000, Jharkhand's growth rate was substantially higher than Bihar. The new state had resources and everything that a state needed for growth. But Bihar was left with people, poverty and politics. This split should have been Bihar's death sentence. A state with limited natural resources, damaged roads and buildings, poor governance and social tensions just seemed destined for permanent backwardness. But then, something unexpected happened.
नीतीश कुमार सत्यनिष्ठा से प्रतिज्ञान करता हूं.
When Nitish Kumar became the chief minister in 2005, he faced a seemingly impossible task: bringing back to life a state that had been written off by everyone. His first priority was law and order. The notorious criminals who once operated freely were either arrested or ran away from the state. With security restored, infrastructure development began, and electricity supply improved from 10 hours daily to nearly 24 hours in many areas. The results were shocking. Bihar's economic growth rate jumped from under 1% to over 10% yearly. At the same time, school enrollment rates increased, healthcare improved, and business confidence started returning to the state. However, big challenges still remain. Despite improvements, Bihar still ranks as India's poorest state. Per capita income remains 40% below the national average. Brain drain continues as educated youth prefer opportunities in developed states. The key lies in keeping good governance while avoiding the return of divisive politics. Bihar needs consistent policy focused on education, skill development and industrial growth rather than short-term populist measures. Just like other states, Bihar can transform too. Gujarat transformed from a riot-torn economically backward region in the 1960s to India's industrial powerhouse. Tamil Nadu rose above caste-based disputes. Haryana changed from a rural, underdeveloped area to a modern economic hub. UP in more recent times as well. The question isn't whether Bihar can develop, it is whether the state's leaders and people will choose progress over politics consistently enough to complete this transformation. Will Bihar finally break free from its past, or will its politics pull it back down? What do you think? Share your thoughts below, and if you want to explore more business and geopolitical case studies, subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you again soon.